Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this best of 7 series between Whitera and TLO. This is going to be game number 5. It will also be on Daybreak, which, as always, is kind of interesting for PvZ because it all does come down to that third base of the ZerG player. I won't go into it too much because I'm sure if you have seen any of my other casts ever on this map in PvZ, you have heard why it comes down to the third base. If you haven't, go check out an older video. I don't want to belabor the same point over and over and over again because I recognize that gets boring and dull and bleh. So it does come down to the third base of the ZerG player. That's all I'm going to say. In the upper right, we have the ZerG player, purple ZerG, in fact, a good color. Not quite as good as green, but purple is an acceptable selection. It is Liquid TLO, aka the Game of Drones. His opponent in the lower left corner of the map is going to be the red Protoss player, Whitera. Going down quickly, 0-3. He was able to take a final win in the previous, or not really a final win, his first win. The opposite of the final win in the previous game, putting the total map score at 1-3. And will he be able to keep himself in this series, or is he going to go down? Let's hope his timing attacks are sharp. Now, I want to tell you guys a story of how I horrified myself just before casting this. It wasn't really, I didn't horrify myself, I just got horrified. So in between, like, I'll cast a game, and while I'm casting the game, I have fraps running to record the video, and I have sound booth in a second monitor to record the audio, and the second monitor part isn't relevant. You need to remember that, but that's just where it is. So there you go. Now you have it. And then, after I record a game, I stop recording. I quit out. I don't quit out of Starcraft, but I quit out of the replay. And then I go to my little fraps folder, I make a new folder, and then I put the audio file and all the video files into that folder. So it's nice and sorted, and then it's easier to render on YouTube. And oh wow, we see TLO going for a really interesting ninja third over here after going for a spawning pool. That is quite interesting. Really going to throw Whitera off. Anyway, and when I'm doing a StarCraft 2 series, I have one overall folder. So for this one, it is the Whitera versus TLO folder, and then in that folder we have game 1, game 2, game 3, so on and so forth. We have those subfolders. Whitera does scout the third base, or the first expansion at the third base of TLO is the proper way to say that. And what I did is I opened up my fraps folder, and it showed me the video files and the audio file I had just recorded, but it didn't show me the folder to put them in for a good 5 seconds. And I just cleaned up the fraps in the YouTube folder prior to that because I was running out of space, and obviously you need space to record things. So I had this 5 seconds of oh my god, did I just delete the first half of the series? Am I really going to have to recast that? My voice is already getting a little bit tired. And then it rendered for me. It showed the folder, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, thank you for loading that. My computer apparently likes trolling me. Oh, that just scared me so much. So my heart rate is a little elevated, but it's okay. We're fine. We have StarCraft 2. We have a great series here, and hopefully that will be able to soothe me. So TLO going, as always, for the very quick 3 bases, just because that's what you do on this map. Going to be very interested to see how Whitera does decide to hold this off. Well, he's not going to be going for a quick 3 bases of his own, as he already does have that double gas, which is not something you do when you're going for a quick third base as a Protoss player. There's a little bit of knowledge for you guys. So for the time being, we're just going to have to sit back, relax, possibly drink some tea, and wait to see where Whitera decides he wants to take this game, because the ball is squarely in his court. 100%. This point in the game is all about Whitera deciding, well, what do I want to do about that third base, TLO? How do I want to ruin your day and mess things up over there? Do I want to go for Void Ray play again? Do I want to go for a big +1 mass gateway, either all in or just early game aggression, depending on how many gateways I build? Do I want to do something funky with Warp Prism play, or other types of robotics play, like Immortals or even Fast Colossi or anything like that? And we're going to have to wait and see what exactly Whitera does decide to do. He does lose his probe, which is very sad. We just saw that. Broke my heart a little bit. And he's going for a third gas as well. So that is very much worth noting. I'm just saying things at this point. I'm waiting for Whitera. This is the kind of thing I don't like about this map, is there's not really anything to say until the 6.5 minute mark. And there's something to say. We do see a Stargate is on the way for Whitera, and is he going to be throwing down a second one? Yes, he certainly is. So once again, going for that Void Ray play, which which is a pretty sick rhyme. Will he be able to do the damage he needs? For the time being, no creep spread, only one queen at each base, and no evolution chamber. Now, that doesn't mean that any of those things won't be in place by the time the Void Rays get there. That just means they aren't in place right now, so that is something. And oh, TLO going for a quick 4th hatchery, a quick macro hatch. He doesn't have a roach warren or a baling nest or anything like that. He's just going to have the sickest level of production for whatever tech he does eventually decide to get. Now, this is interesting from Whitera. He does have this +1 ground weapons attack, but he's going for Stargate play. I wonder if he's going to throw up any more gateways here to try and do a Void Ray Zealot timing or anything like that. That is a very popular build we do see, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that, as there is a probe moving out across the map over here, maybe getting ready to throw down a proxy pylon. Are we going to see it? Well, it's mining a mineral before it does anything else. And it's going to take that home as a souvenir, apparently. No proxy pylons right now. Oh, well, maybe next time. Ooh, nice Overlord Scout here from TLO. He is going to spot the Stargate play from Whitera. Interestingly enough, though, Whitera producing 1 Void Ray, just a single Void Ray, and then going with a bunch of Phoenix, and now, yes, he's, oh my stars and garters. He does have 4 gateways coming out right now. Oh, and my frame rate is also freaking out as to this proposition. There we go, now it's much better. And he also has +1 air weapons on the way, so a little bit of a funkier, unrefined build from Whitera. Pretty cool to see, though. He's going to go for a +1/+1, well, a +1 ground attack and +1 air weapons as well. That is very interesting to see. Now, we do see a bunch of Spore Crawlers going up, 5 right now, and there are already 2 out on the map. So he really doesn't want to have to deal with this air harass at all. He didn't enjoy how it went the previous game. He saw air harass, but the Spore Crawler is going to be absolutely useless against the mass gateway play Whitera is going for. So a very cool build here from Whitera, playing some mind games with his opponent. Yeah, he showed that Stargate tech, but it ended up being a benefit because now he's going to go up to 5 gateways behind it. He does have +1 attack for all those gateway units as well, and this is going to get a little bit messy. And oh no, TLO. Oh, TLO thinks he's safe, ladies and gentlemen. He's teching behind this. He has a Roach Warren on the way. That's not it, but he does have a Roach Warren on the way. He has an Infestation Pit on the way as well. He thinks he has defended the Stargate aggression perfectly, and while he looked good on that front, as we all know, there are a bunch of gateway units over here at the 3rd base just ready to ruin TLO's day. And we do see that Whitera is looking very strong in this 5th game right now. It looks like he may be able to bring things up 2-3, which is a much more palatable situation to be in than 1-3 or 0-3. The Lings goo.gl for a run by. They're going to try and go for a kill on this proxy pylon. A bunch of Zealots warping in, not going to allow that to happen, though I actually love the double proxy pylon here from Whitera. That's very smart, seeing the redundant proxy pylon. It'll just take that much longer for any Zerg units to really kill it, which I really do like. But Zealots basically killing everything ever all over the map. It's pretty bad right now for TLO. A Zealot going toe-to-toe with that Queen. Nice force fields going down here, going to allow these Zealots to go all 300 on these Zerglings. And more units are getting warped into the 3rd base of Game of Drones, aka Liquid TLO, does go down. There is an Overseer over here, so I'm hoping it's been like gooping things. That'd be very cool. It doesn't look like it has been, though. Oh my god, this is a lot of Zealots. And yeah, there are Infestors out on the map. Unfortunately, they do not have their upgrade. There are a couple of Roaches, but with just the sheer amount of things Whitera has right now, I don't really know if it's going to matter whatsoever. TLO dealing so much damage, Whitera dealing so much damage, but TLO looks like he is going to hold for the time being. It does appear that he has cleaned up basically everything. There's just Phoenixes over here right now. More units are getting warped in here from Whitera. My computer is being silly once again. There we go. All I have to do is call it out, and it does get embarrassed at falling down on the job for you guys, and it does speed itself back up again. So that's good. It's good that we know how to deal with this. And after all is said and done, I wonder where we are. Well, I won't check the resources lost happen and everything like that until these Phoenixes are done doing their thing, because they are killing quite a few drones right now. And it does look as if they are almost done. So if we take a look at the supplies, we do see they're both relatively even, as well as are the worker supplies, which of course does put Whitera ahead, because as long as the Protoss player can keep pace with the Zerg player economically, he is feeling pretty good. As far as resources lost goes, we do see TLO lost a lot more resources than Whitera did as well. So Whitera looking pretty good. Now TLO, he is going for another 3rd base over here. Whitera, in the meantime, He is looking just to set for a sick timing attack. He does have 2 more robotics facilities, or not 2 more, but he does have 2 robotics facilities making it out on the map. Oh no, TLO letting through a lot of lings. He needs to force field the ramp. Oh, he does not force field the ramp. So these lings are going to get in. They're going to scout absolutely everything, which is kind of a big blunder for Whitera. It is going to give TLO all the information he needs to hold this off. Now, there is a robotics bay on the way, so we are going to see double Colossus production coming out of this robotics facility eventually. The lings are going to get cleaned up. And did the lings see the robo facility? I don't know if they did. You are not a Zerg unit. Here we go. Okay, they did. And even if they didn't, I mean, if you see 2 robotics facilities, you kind of have to assume that there's going to be a robotics bay as well. Because just going double robotics facilities for Immortals really isn't that common of a thing. And yep, TLO, he's going to correctly identify what's going on. He does have a Spire coming out right now for those Corruptors, taking down the Colossi. Good stuff indeed. And Whitera, he's going to push out, and he's going to start working on taking his 3rd base. And the game is actually pretty close right now. I do put the slight advantage to Whitera. As long as Whitera doesn't let this game spiral out of control, he should win this, but it is still relatively close. It's not completely lost for TLO or anything like that. TLO certainly does view this game as a winnable thing. Looks like we had a little bit of Zealot harass coming out over here to the 3rd base. It looks like they got locked down before they were really able to do anything meaningful, though. So I don't think we really missed all that much. Phoenixes are annoying. That's all I have to say. Playing against a player who goes Mass Phoenixes is the most irritating thing in the entire world. That's all I have to say, because they are going to have map control for basically the rest of the game, and they're going to come kill your workers when you're not paying attention. It is just a fact of life. A big push out here, though, from TLO. A huge amount of lings. They do have 1-2, so they are very nicely upgraded. I don't know if this 3rd base is going to stay alive from Whitera. If he had Colossi, he needs to get these Colossi in position. If he has these Colossi in the area, he's completely 100% fine, and he is going to get the Colossi in the area. So this 3rd base is going to survive. Yep, TLO trying to turn around. Force fields go down. Don't really get anything. Like a single Zergling died, and trading a Ling for 3 force fields. That's a pretty good trade. I'll take that trade any day of the week when I'm playing Zerg. That is 100% good. We see a funky expansion coming out here from TLO. I don't quite know what he's doing right there. Nice force fields this time from Whitera. He is going to trap a lot of the Zerg army. He is going to kill absolutely everything as well. So goodbye, Lings. You tried your best. But at the same time, those Infestors. Is it a 4-Fester hit squad? It is the 4-Fester hit squad. They do throw down a bunch of those Infested Terran, and this hatch, or this Nexus, excuse me, is going to fall. Goodbye, Nexus. You tried your best, but you were just not able to cut it. Now we do see some Phoenixes killing something in the middle of the map. Probably just an Overlord or something of that nature. And they're going to continue scouting around. We do see a 4th base coming up here from TLO. And okay, the Infestors are burrowed, so they will not be caught out of position by these Phoenixes for the time being anyway. But we do see that 4th base coming up here from TLO. And Whitera really needs to do something about this. He can't let TLO get an initial base up. And a Fungal does go down. Only gets a couple of Phoenixes, though. And there is going to be no follow-up as well, so it's really not that big a deal. And Whitera, wow, so ballsy. There's an Infestor over here with plenty of energy that could lock that Phoenix ball down, but it was burrowed, and it looks like TLO wasn't able to grab it and lift it in time or anything like that. So sad day for TLO. Could have locked down quite a bit of those Phoenixes, but again, maybe he did that on purpose. I mean, he only has the 1 Infestor in the area, or he has 2. So maybe he would have had enough follow-up to kill this group of Phoenixes, but it is quite a few Phoenixes, so maybe not. Whitera, at the same time, taking a 4th base of his own, his 3rd base almost rebuilt, so he is trying to do his best to stay even on the economy side of things. And there's the big play from TLO, locking those Phoenixes down. Every last one does fall, and now TLO is going to have map presence and dominance once again. He's up to 4 bases. He's up to that 8 gas count, which is what's really, really important, and he does have that hive on the way, so we are going to see the Broodlord transition here pretty soon in the near future. I am interested to see what the upgrades are. For the Protoss player, it is +2 attack, +1 armor. For the Roaches, it is +1 attack, +2 armor. And for the Lings, it is +1 attack, +2 armor as well. So both players basically with comparable upgrades. And These infestors, just barely don't get spotted. One infestor does go down. Uh-oh, now they have been spotted. We did see a fungal get cast, but it completely whiffed, didn't even catch a single piece of the Protoss army, so that's unfortunate for TLO. And this game is evolving into a rather interesting situation, because while TLO has the tech... Does he have the tech lead? He kind of has the tech lead. He's going to have Broodlords soon, which is what I want to say. He's going to have Broodlords soon, which is very, very strong. Whitera, he's going to be on equal bases right now, actually. We see the 4th base just now finishing up, and we see the probes get transferred over there as well. So unless TLO is able to win any engagement quite strongly... Oh, 2 infestors going down immediately. Unless he wins any engagements very convincingly, Whitera's actually going to be in pretty alright shape, because he's going to be on equal bases, and of course we all know that means that the Protoss player is favored. We do see +3. Oh yeah, now these units are at +2/+2 for Whitera, +3 attack about to finish up as well. He's building Archons. He has a fleet beacon on the way. Where is that fleet beacon? Where is my delicious fleet bacon? There it is. There is the fleet bacon. And that's going to allow, of course, for the mothership, which is great for the endgame scenario we're going to find ourselves in. So even though TLO has appeared to be more dominant in the mid-game phase of this particular match, I'm kind of feeling Whitera. Whitera is looking pretty strong right now. He has +3 armor. He's going to be on 3/3 very shortly. However, 10 Broodlords are kind of scary. That's pretty good. How much anti-air does Whitera have? He has some. He has a group of Blinkstalkers. He has 3 Archons as well, and he does have 2 Void Rays. And he has begun Void Ray production, which is a brilliant decision at this point. He knows he really needs to be able to deal with those Broodlords very efficiently, and obviously Void Rays and Archons and Blinkstalkers a very, very good way to do that. Looks like Whitera is just going to kill a few Lings over here. Big deal. 1 Ling does survive. This Ling will go on to be Commander Shepard in Mass Effect 1 with the survival background story. If you haven't played Mass Effect, you have literally no idea what I am talking about. But if you did, hopefully you got a chuckle, because that was a bad joke, and I feel bad for saying it. Big Ling run by coming over here for TLO once again. Is he really going to be able to kill this base another time? Well, he might. There are a lot of photon cannons in the area this time, definitely delaying the time these Lings have. Whitera, though, he's not really reacting. He doesn't want to get pulled out of position. He's afraid. Now, he could totally react. I mean, this Broodlord army is very, very slow. It's very, very far away as well, and he is eventually going to pull back here. Now that he's realized, wait, there's nothing coming for my 4th base, I can actually go ahead and just attack over here. Looks like there's some more rogue zealots trying to deal damage where they can. They did force a kill on this 5th base over here, it does look like. So very nice play from Whitera, keeping the game on 4 base to 4 base, which is exactly what he needs. There are more Lings over here. They were burrowed. That's why Whitera left. He's really going to need to kill these eventually. He is losing quite a few probes over here. Up to 22 workers killed by Liquid TLO. Taking a look at the income tab, we do see TLO does have a 10 worker advantage. And that's another thing about TLO. Even though he's on 4 bases, he really doesn't have all that many drones. So while he has a very, very large and strong army, as you can see, 141 supply, he's going to have trouble rebuilding that if things do go sideways for him in the inevitable upcoming engagement. That's going to be super epic and amazing and wonderful, because both players are just sitting back and basically crafting as perfect a death ball as they can. We see Whitera, he does now have that +1 shield upgrade as well, which is great for the Archons. Frame rate once again derping just a little bit. Is there a mothership anywhere? A mothership would explain that. No mothership. Yes, there is a mothership. Okay, so that's why it's unavoidable. Motherships bring the mightiest computers to their knees, so there really isn't much we can do about that. We do see the fleet of 6 Overseers over here to try and detect these motherships, and more Broodlords. TLO right now, he might be going for too many Broodlords. Oh my god, this is a lot of Broodlords. I mean, this is what, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus 4 is 17. 17 Broodlords, that's a lot. And Whitera has a lot of anti-air. He has, what is this? He has 6 Void Rays, and he has a mothership, which are, of course, going to be untouchable by the Broodlords, because Broodlords are air to ground. Now, there is some anti-air here from TLO. He does have almost 16 Corruptors, but I mean, there's just so much anti-air for Whitera. Everything in his army. Does he have a Zealot? Does he have a single Zealot? He has 2 Zealots and 2 Immortals, but everything else in his army hits air. He has the Mothership, he has the Archons, he has the Void Rays, he has a bunch of Blinkstalkers, and I don't know if TLO is going to win this. Now, both players, this actually might become a base race, as both players are moving across opposite sides of the map right now. By the way, I want to point TLO doing some tricks right here. He does have 209 supply out of 200. He did that by maxing out to 200, building some drones into structures, so he went down to, like, words are hard, to about 190 supply. Then he built more units and then canceled the structures. So now he's up above that supply. But look at this huge, just scary army from the Protoss player right here. I don't know if TLO is going to be able to engage us. Some Broodlords do start pushing out right here, and it does look as if, oh no, Whitera, you can't get your army or your mothership fungled like that. He does go for a Vortex, and he's going right back in. He did get quite a few Broodlords there. He would have liked a better Vortex, but hey, he'll take what he can get. He is still going to get basically 4 or 5 free Broodlords out of that whole situation, and the mothership is still standing strong. The Corruptor's moving forward to start trying to focus it down, but it already got its Vortex out. It already provided what it needed, and these Void Rays are just absolutely destroying the entire Broodlord flotilla of the Zerg army. But TLO, he's still getting a pretty good engagement over here. He does have the supply lead for the time being. The Archon's being forced to fire away on the ground army rather than the flying units of TLO, but the ground army is almost dead, and then those Archons are going to be able to start focusing down the super important air units, that game of drones that TLO does have. And I want to point out, TLO, he's being forced to remax out on Zerglings. Oh, and 11 Broodlords. Never mind, he's better off than I thought he was. So many Broodlords. Okay, he does cancel 4 of them, realizing, oh wow, I can't build all of my Corruptors into Broodlords because then one Void Ray will kill my entire army. So he does get 4 more Corruptors out onto the field. And after that brilliant engagement, TLO, he's going to be looking pretty good. 100 in our army supply to 66, and I really do think it all came to that, down to that initial fungal on the mothership. Whitera wanted to turn around. He didn't want to engage there, but TLO locked that mothership down and forced Whitera. He forced his hand and said, okay, Whitera, you can either attack now or you can lose your mothership for free. And obviously Whitera did not want to lose his mothership for free, so he was forced to attack, and that did put TLO in a pretty nice position. Again, though, the game is not yet over. It is still 4 bases to 4 bases, which means Whitera can basically stand toe-to-toe with TLO as far as the macro game goes. Now he's going to need to get these units back into position, or else he's just going to lose this base, and it's going to be bad and gross. Okay, now they are coming back. These Broodlords are going to be trying to focus down this area as much as they can. Mothership is on the way. It's not quite yet finished, though. Is Whitera going to fully engage, or is he going to wait for the mothership? He is going to fully engage right now. Holy crap, that is a lot of changelings. I don't know if it was the best decision for Whitera to engage right here. Well, maybe it was. All the lings are basically going down to the massive splash damage of the Archons. Not a whole lot of anti-air here for TLO either. These Void Rays are going to clean up all of the anti-air that TLO does have in position right now. So even though TLO is going to win this engagement, for the most part, he is going to start losing quite a few Void Rays he is going to start losing quite a few Broodlords if these Void Rays choose to engage. However, Whitera, he's going to retreat with those Void Rays right now. Looks like he wants to wait until his mothership does pop out before he does re-engage. I just took a sip of water because I have been talking way too loudly for way too long, but the Void Rays are pushing back forward. Is there any energy on this Infestor? No, there is not, and there really aren't that many Corruptors. There are quite a few, but still these Void Rays may be able to focus down a bunch of Broodlords very, very quickly. Oh, there's the clutch fungal right there. The Void Rays are going to get cleaned up. Another fungal going to lock the final 2 down. Corruptors going to beat them up very nicely. And things are starting to look pretty nasty for Whitera. 83 supply to 131 of liquid TLO. And now we do see the Broodlords starting to take down this 3rd base. There's really nothing Whitera is able to do to counteract this. Looks like he's just going to go for a very minor, weak counterattack. Just a group of 8 Zealots going over there, and they're really not going to be able to accomplish all that much, considering there's a bunch of Broodlords just smashing down the entire Protoss 3rd base right now. We do see mass changeling suicide take place at the 3rd base as well. Always fun to see the Zealots doing what they can. Keep in mind, these are 3-2-3 Zealots, so they are going to survive for a ridiculously long time right here. Killing a lot of things, but it just will not be enough. Looks like the game is going to go on for a little bit longer. Whitera doing what he can. He does know that the weakness of Mass Broodlords is very, very bad in mobility. They are very, very slow to move their way across the map, only just now getting back to the 4th base of the Zerg from the 3rd base of the Protoss. So Whitera doing what he can to counteract that. He's even trying to take a base right now, so I do admire Whitera's persistence in this game, really trying to do what he can to win. He does not want to go down in this best of 7 series. And he has another Nexus going down over here on the lower right, just expanding all over the place, hoping he'll get lucky enough to have a Nexus survive for long enough to really pay for itself and make it worth his while. And I do want to point out, once again, this is basically Game of Drones TLO's only mining base. You see this? This doesn't count, folks. These are completely mined out. So this is really his only mining base. So if Whitera is able to grab onto and hold onto a base, he could make this happen, but he's not going to be able to. He saw the Zerg army did start moving towards his last bastion of hope, so he does GG. So that is actually kind of interesting, because assuming the first game we watched is part of the best of 7 series, that would mean that the best of 7 series would be over and TLO would win 4-1. However, I know that that's not the case, because I have another replay from this pack to cast. So my guess is going to be that first game we saw was like game 0 of the best of 7, the one where they met each other on the ladder and then decided, oh hey, we should do another best of 7 practice series for the fans. So there is going to be another game after this. Make sure to look for it. The series is not over. Where we stand right now, TLO won game 0, and now we're currently 3-1 in the actual best of 7 series. So let's go check out that next game and see what goes down there.